Hello, everyone. This is Matt Haywood from EntertainmentBuddha.com bringing you another episode of the infamous Buddhacast. This week's title is April Ain't Foolin' No One. So, based on the title, you can probably tell we're going to take a look at the April Fool's Day pranks pulled in the gaming industry, as well as a few other topics rooted in gaming, such as some of the games we've been playing, namely new ones like Infamous Second Son, BioShock Infinite, Burial at Sea Episode 2, and a few other that Ray and Tim Benson's have been previewing. And from there, we're going to move into some interesting or controversial gaming industry topics, such as Facebook's purchase of Oculus Rift. And then finally, at the end, I'm going to do a little quick recap of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which is the latest installment in Marvel's second phase movie universe. So with that being said, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and go around the table and introduce my co-hosts again. I'm Matt Haywood, the Entertainment Buddha. We also have our friend from across the pond, Tim Benson's.
You lucky people.
We have our lone female voice, Anna.
Hello.
And then finally, the Wu-Tang Clan, a.k.a. Raymond Pareca.
I can feel you guys cheering for me.
Yeah. All right, well, welcome back, crew. So let's jump right into this Buddhacast episode. So like I said, let's start out with the April Fool's Day pranks. There are two good ones. One was good, one was pretty controversial. Let's start with the good, and that is Titanfall Prime. Okay, if you guys haven't seen this yet, it's out on the entertainmentbuddha.com website. Highly recommend checking it out. But basically what happened is someone over at IGN partnered up with some talented VFX artists and people that can make cinematics, and they created a parody DLC for Titanfall that involved the Autobots' own Optimus Prime. So, I mean, literally, they had Prime dropping into the battlefield, fighting with the pilots and other Titans, beating the crap out of Titans with his iconic axe, and pilots were jumping in his stomach. I mean, it's just all around well done bit, and it actually fooled one of our very own, Tim Benson.
I was hoping you weren't going to mention that. I was just about to say how it could have fooled anybody is beyond me. I'm calling you out because you let us know that you you were duped. So again, it just goes to show you how well done it was. Yeah. I'm like I said, I didn't actually see the trailer. I just saw some stills from it, and that was enough. I just looked, and I don't personally own Titanfall, and it fooled me. I really thought it was real, and I'm slightly disappointed actually that it's. That
would have been such good DLC. Like it just would have been awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being DLC,
right?
Because I should imagine the reaction was pretty much the same as everybody else's. What?
I think anyone would pay for that. The only stumbling block I see is I believe Activision owns the Transformers property for video games, so I doubt they'll share with EA.
Right.
But hey, you never know. Money talks. Maybe someone can get a deal done. But
yeah, and if anyone can do something or has the money to in the gaming industry, it's definitely EA.
Yeah. Well, so how about you, Ray? Did you check it out? What did you think, or do you any bother with it?
No, I checked it out actually, and I'll have to say, obviously, like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, I have not played Titanfall, and I'm not a gigantic Transformers fan. But
boo.
In a perfect world, if that were real DLC, I think that would be justification for me to buy the game because it was pretty damn cool. I have to be honest in that much. So,
and there you go, people. You heard it from the Wu-Tang Clan. He would spend $60 just to get this DLC. So it is pretty fantastic. Make sure to check it out on the site. Let's move on to the prank that really didn't go over so well, and that was the one between, I believe, was it EA and Nintendo?
Yeah.
It was actually, it wasn't EA directly.
It was someone from the Frostbite team,
it was
correct?
from Frostbite. Yeah. And they started just sending out some really, really shitty tweets, to be fair, directed at Nintendo, and specifically the Wii U, and just kind of poking fun, saying things like, we've brought the latest iteration of the Frostbite engine to the Wii U because it's, you know, the only console that can handle it, and just generally just being arses. And from an outsider's point of view, it was mildly amusing for some other reasons, you know, for various reasons, but the main one being that the Frostbite engine in its current form hasn't exactly performed too well. So it was a bit funny to see EA point their, you know, kind of dirty fingers at EA when they can't even, you know, make Battlefield.
It was definitely ironic to have a team calling out a console for not performing well. When their own game has pretty much marred the Battlefield reputation at this point. It certainly has, Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. I'm a massive Battlefield fan. I have been a massive Battlefield fan for, you know, since basically since Battlefield 2. And Battlefield 4, although great, is definitely been the worst Battlefield in regards to performance, bugs across all platforms, not just the PC, Xbox One, PS4. I mean, they released a new DLC, I think it was last week, called Naval Strike. And I was really looking forward to it. And it's just a complete lag fest. The moment you get into a 64-player server, it just lags, completely and utterly unplayable. And it's just like, well, why am I paying you guys money to have this experience? So
yeah, I'm sure it wasn't cheap. I mean, did you have the season pass or did you have to pay for it separately?
Yeah, well, premium. I mean, over in the UK, so PS4 game, 50 quid. So that's probably about, what?
$1 million over here at least.
Yeah, it's probably around about $70. And premium is 40. So you're looking at around about 60. So
yeah, I mean, our game prices are typically $60 for a game, and then season passes are usually $30 extra.
Yeah. And it's just a ridiculous amount of money for a game that doesn't perform anywhere near as well as it should, by a company that it's not like it's their first time out. You know, this is
that's what I don't understand with these issues and how they take place. I mean, these things can be corrected in development through alphas and betas and whatnot, but now that it's out in the wild, it's probably nearly impossible for them to try and patch ththings to get them to work correctly. I played a couple times. I saw the rubber banding issue that a lot of people complained about.
Yeah.
It wasn't what anyone would expect of the newest and greatest Battlefield game.
Yeah, it totally ruined the kind of, you know, the awe that Battlefield can deliver, because it is a great game, like I said, and I still enjoy it regardless of the fact that it has had a lot of problems. It's still a very enjoyable game. It's still Battlefield at heart, and you know, you still have a ridiculous amount of fun. But for EA to start poking fun at the Wii U, it's just kind of, you know, idiots, basically idiots. And the tweets were quickly deleted, and EA made an official statement. But by that time,
which makes it worse. I mean, honestly, quite frankly, that makes it worse, because then they're basically admitting, we did something wrong. They should just roll with it and be like, it was a joke. Get over it.
Yeah, it's a joke. Get over it. Yeah.
I mean, what they're saying, it was slightly funny if you do follow the game industry, because, I mean, let's face it, the Wii U is a flop at this point. To say.
Yeah, it's fair to say that it
really doesn't sell anymore. There aren't any must-have titles. I think Mario Kart 8 coming out at the end of May will drive a couple sales, but
now I won't be popular saying this, but it's pretty accurate to say that the Wii U is basically just a piece of hardware to play Nintendo games, because that's all it's become. Third-party support.
It's first party all the way for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's what's been hurting them, because sure, you're going to have that sector out there that those Nintendo fanboys, all they want to play is Mario, Zelda, you know, the brands, the Yoshis, the Kirbys and whatnot. But there are gamers that want to try some third-party titles out, like Battlefield 4 or you know, other games that release multi-platform. Developers just don't want to develop on the Wii because they're not going to make any money on it because they know there's not a large install base of consoles. So why bother?
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally hit the nail on the head. And once that third-party support dried up, it was pretty much clear that, it's not doomed because Nintendo will continue to release titles, and those titles will, for the most part, be really good. But it's not going to make me want to go out and get a Wii.
No, I mean, Nintendo, let's face it, they helped to kick off the home console craze. I mean, they're not new kids in this game. They've kind of lost their focus on what gamers want now, at least Western gamers.
I think for them, it all started to go downhill when they released the N64. And I had an N64 and I loved it. I loved the games on it. I had some of my best experiences gaming wise on the N64, but it kind of showed their message.
007.
Ethos. When the PlayStation hit and Sony was, well, we don't care if, a game contains this violence or this kind of thing. If people want to play that, we'll let them play it. Whereas Nintendo were very controlling.
Well, I'm sure the PS1 spawned out of a broken deal with Nintendo and Sony, right?
No, I didn't. I did not know that, actually.
Sony and Nintendo, I believe, Sony wanted to make a CD drive for a Nintendo console.
Nintendo asked them to do the CD drive for them, and they were going to they were going to work together to it. I'm not sure specifically what went sour between them, but
I believe it was on Nintendo's end. I mean, it's something like they didn't like the way things were going. They told them to hit the road, and Sony was like, all right, well, here's the PS1 world.
Screw you guys, we're doing the PlayStation.
Yeah. And I remember when that hit, and it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, I mean, the PS1 changed the game because it totally took CDs and always, I mean, it's kind of a cliche at this point, but Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 and watching those cinematic cutscenes was unheard of at that time. 96, 97, you did not see that the movie quality cutscenes in video games.
Yeah.
No, that was a game changer.
Yeah, the CGI was outstanding. And it wasn't just that. I mean, the sheer length of those cutscenes as well. I'd never experienced anything like that at all.
Yes, it was pretty amazing. So sticking with Nintendo, I kind of like this conversation. Would you guys be open to playing Nintendo games on other platforms? Not that Nintendo would ever release first party on other platforms, but would you play a Super Mario on your PS3 or PS4?
I would. And I've often thought about if Nintendo should go the same way as Sega and just drop hardware. And being that I'm kind of an old Nintendo fan, I'm torn. I'm really ambivalent about the whole thing because yes, I'd like them to release on other platforms because I know that the games would sell really well. They'd carry on making some really great titles and everyone would be able to, experience that. But at the same time, I kind of don't want Nintendo to die. I know they won't because obviously they have the DS.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, the hardware game, maybe consoles, but handhelds, they still have mastered that concept.
They've slaughtered the handheld market for years, years. And it's got to that point where you don't even. I mean, I know there's the PS Vita. You got the Nvidia Shield, which has just come out or is coming out, but I don't think anyone's really going to care. It's DS or 3DS or the 2DS.
Yeah, it's the clear leader right now, but I think what Sony has planned for the Vita and just the way it interacts with the 4 now, I mean, it is a great handheld. I mean, it's a high-end handheld. I mean, you can stream PS4 games to it. I'm playing Final Fantasy X2 HD on it right now. It looks beautiful. I mean, it is a fantastic handheld, but it hasn't caught on like the PSP never really caught on. I mean, it's because Nintendo got to the mobile game day one. I mean, they made the Game Boy in 87 or 88?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I bought mine in 1993. I remember that. It was
Wait, what were you, like 4 years old?
I was 3 years old
Yeah,
at the
buddy,
time,
that's
actually.
what I thought,
My mom bought it for me and was like, what the hell does my kid want this for? He's way too young to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
but I
you got
still have
your
it.
Tetris cartridge in there probably, right?
Killer Instinct was the first game I had.
Oh, wow.
Did you ever have the
at 3 years old?
magnifying glass clip on?
Yeah,
I know.
to magnify that poopy brown screen with the black LCD. Yeah,
it wasn't brown; it was green.
Yeah,
it was
that
some
weird
shade
green. It was
diarrhea.
like pond water.
Yeah, exactly.
It was horrendous.
Good times. So, any other comments on the April Fool's pranks before we move on to the next topic?
I think the favorite one that I saw was someone had done a mock site of Steam, of their website, saying that Steam has now partnered with Facebook.
Oh, no.
And it replaced all the Steam games with like Farmville and Candy Crush. And yeah, it just,
I don't think the Facebook and gaming industry memes will go away for quite some time after the Oculus Rift acquisition, but we'll touch on that later. So moving on to some of the games we've been playing. We run a geeky site. It's heavily focused on games, so we typically like to get our hands on the latest and greatest video games out there. And one in particular that I quite enjoyed was Infamous Second Son for the PS4.
Beautiful.
Yeah, an amazing looking game. I actually did an editorial yesterday just on, I call it the excellence in design, kind of taking a deeper look at Second Son. Because not only visually is it just, for a console, I mean, nothing touches it in my opinion. Has anyone else played it, or am I the only one?
Not yet.
I watched you stream it that one night. That's my only exposure to it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, again, I know the PC elite out there, yes, games have always looked amazing, or they tend to look amazing on PC first before console, but for pure console gamers, I don't think there's a better looking game right now, and that's thanks to Sucker Punch's excellent lighting system, the particles, the textures, the environments. Check out that post I just talked about, because I captured some screenshots and a video for you to look at. I mean, Seattle looks exquisite. So I'm not going to go into my full review of the game. I liked it. I rated it in the 80s, I believe. It's definitely worth a play if you have the PS4. But really, the special part of that game is its visuals and its sound. I mean, it's one of the better sounding games because Sucker Punch included, I believe, at least 5 specific sound settings, one of which was just for the PS Gold wireless headset, which I had. And the change that made when I enabled that setting was amazing. I mean, I typically don't like to play with headsets because I have a 7.1 surround system, so I want to blow out my eardrums that way. But with Second Son, I kept my headset on because they crafted that custom equalizer setting, if you will, for that game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why not? I mean, if they've gone to the effort of specifically making,
and it's amazing. 10, and I know, I mean, you're in the audio, and you definitely would appreciate it. But it was amazing the small little nuanced type of sounds I picked up once I switched that mode. I mean, I could just close my eyes and sit there, and it sounded like I was standing in a city street in Seattle. So
yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you've actually picked up on the fact that Infamous does have some, really good sound, because a lot of games neglect sound design, and that really annoys me.
Oh, me too. I mean, it goes hand in hand. You got to have the visuals, you got to have the sound.
Exactly.
To get truly immersed, you got to have both.
Exactly. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. If you're gonna spend all that time trying to make a game look really, really good, make it sound good as well. I don't see why some people think that some developers think that they can kind of skimp on audio and sound creation and use a lot of generic kind of effects and sounds. So I don't understand why. Maybe to save costs, developments are vastly expensive.
Yep, you got to keep the people in the suits happy with their budgets. Those damn budgets ruin everything. So any other comments on Second Son? Is anyone planning on play it? Maybe if it drops in price. I mean, to me, it's a must play. I mean, it's one of the better games just for the PS4. So
over the summer, like I said, that's when I'm gonna catch up on a lot of games. So that's
going into the catalog, the backlog.
Yep, it's one of the games added.
Yeah, mine just keeps growing and growing. I don't know about you guys, but I can't seem to ever get caught up. As soon as I get caught up, either a publisher will send me a game or someone will ask me to play a mobile game. It's like, hey, you got to keep the site live with content. So I've kind of sacrificed my gaming career for Entertainment Buddha.
Sacrifice your gaming career to get to play more video games.
It's an odd system, but that's kind of what happens when you try to write about these things as a gig.
Self-defeating prophecy. That's what
it is.
It is weird. I mean, Buddha actually just turned 4 years old last week. And when I sat down and created this thing in 2010, I was like, yeah, this will be cool. I'll maybe get some free games to play. And we've accomplished a lot of those goals, but it's also sucked up a lot of my time. So I really don't get to play all the games I want to. I mean, I'm still trying to get through South Park. I think I'm towards the end. But I'm working through that and Final Fantasy X2 and Lightning Returns, that piece of garbage, but I'm going to play it because I played the other two. So
don't do it. Just call it a win.
I'm starting to get stressed just talking about it. So let's move on to some of the other games we've been playing. I hate to hog the mic, but Anna and I don't think Ten or Ray have played BioShock Infinite Burial at Sea Episode 2, which is the final bit of DLC for BioShock Infinite. I wrapped it this week, obviously reviewed it, so you can check it out on entertainmentbuddha.com. But I just wanted to comment on, I mean, it was a sad affair, and it was sad because it's pretty much Irrational Games and Ken Levine's swan song on the BioShock franchise, and it was beautifully done. It was a great DLC. It greatly added to the BioShock franchise as a whole. And it really helped to bridge Levine's BioShock 1 with BioShock Infinite. So I don't know if you have any thoughts, Anna, you want to share, but I mean, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was beautiful.
I'm so sad.
It was sad. Yeah, I mean, it was rough. Yeah.
I'm so sad. I absolutely love the game. I mean, I waited forever to play BioShock. And as soon as I was done, I went straight into Infinite. We had Burial at Sea Part 1 ready to go. I played, and then it was just waiting for Part 2. And now that it came and I've played it and it's gone, I feel empty. I mean, that game was life-changing. It just...
Yeah, it got pretty deep, and that just goes to show you how important Ken was to the series. I mean, because he was the creator and the main writer. And the tale he was able to weave in Infinite and somehow believably tie it back to BioShock, I thought it was genius. I mean, the story of Infinite I loved, and the story of Burial, well, really both Burial at Sea episodes, it was great. It was a great revisit the Rapture and then kind of seeing how they tie together. So for you two gentlemen, I mean, have you guys looked into it all? Are you guys BioShock fans, or is not really your bag?
I am a tremendous fan of the first BioShock. I wasn't a big fan of the second one. It was a great game by all means, but not for me, if you will. Kind of did a little bit of stuff that I wasn't crazy about.
I mean, that wasn't Irrational either. I mean, none of the core team.
And then Infinite, I probably have played like 2 or 3 hours of since it was free with the PlayStation Plus. But I don't know if I'll actually finish Infinite. But hearing that, you're saying this DLC stuff can legitimately tie it back to both Rapture and, the story of the first BioShock. It piques my interest for sure. That would be something I'd be interested to see how they do it in a kind of meaningful way.
Really
if anyone's in the multiverse theory, you'll love the ending of Infinite and all of Burial at Sea, because Levine, this guy has really wrapped his head around that concept. And I don't know if you guys know what the multiverse is, but essentially there's universes everywhere, and there's multiple Matts, there's multiple Rays, there's multiple Annas, multiple Tim Bensons. And depending on the decisions they make will depend on their trajectories in their own universe. Yeah. So if I make a decision in mine to go with X, my life will be completely different than the Matt in the other dimension who goes Y.
I've heard it termed parallel universe.
Yeah,
Right.
all kind of the same stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the concept he really explores in Infinite and then picks up in Burial at Sea 1 and 2. And that's kind of how things are tied together. So we really can't get into it without spoiling things. But go ahead. Do you have anything to add in? I mean,
I just suggest for like Ray, like you definitely should get back into it. You won't be disappointed. I mean, it takes a little bit to pick up in Infinite, but once you do, like it just keeps going, and the ending is just amazing. But then
it's one of those. It's a mind beat.
It is.
You know, try not to say the F word this time because I broke my own rule in the last cast. But it is. I mean, that ending, I believe it's anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes long, and the whole time you're just gonna be sitting there with your jaw dropped, like what?
Yeah, jaw dropped. You're just like, what?
Yeah, and this is some deep shit.
Yeah, and you just find yourself remembering points in the game where you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense now. Oh, I get why they did that, why that happened.
It's like one of those movies where they kind of show you the end before you know it's the end, and then once you make it to that point in your movie, you're like, oh, wow, that was kind of clever, and that's kind of how Infinite plays out.
So it's Memento, the game.
Sort of,
Sort of.
All right.
Or The Sixth Sense. Kind of.
Yeah, it's all around quality game. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if a property or an entertainment medium really interests me, I'll kind of find myself studying it. I don't know if that's the right term, but after watching the Infinite ending and then after watching Burial at Sea episode 2 ending, I kind of made it my mission to go out on the internet and just see what other people were thinking about it, how they interpreted it. And to me, that means that the developer, touched something within me, like they really struck a chord, and I was like, yeah, I want to explore this further, and that's just why I always found Infinite to be special.
See, that definitely happened, and I'm in the same boat as Ray. I played BioShock 1, and I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Really got the atmosphere. Nice little twist in there as well. Number 2, mixed bag for me, and I haven't played Infinite, but I will definitely say that I do remember a lot of people talking about the ending for Infinite, and a lot of varying opinions as well. Some people really didn't get it. Some people really didn't like it, and then other people just thought it was just brilliant, which is good. Like if a game can do that, especially an end sequence for a game, and an ending. If an ending can do that, then I suppose it's achieved the ultimate goal, isn't it? Is to have,
mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's to have
people are thinking and talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's entered into people's consciousness and their subconsciousness that they can't help but find out what their fellow gamers think of it. And I suppose that's like I said, it's the pinnacle of game design. Whether you think it's a bad game, whether you think it's a good game, whether you think it's a great game, the fact that it became a talking point is great.
Yeah, so I don't know if you downloaded it, Benson's, but
PS Plus.
When it was free, but it's definitely worth checking out one day if you get a little free time.
Yeah, I probably will give it a go because so much has been said about it.
Yeah, just forget BioShock 2. I mean, to me, that was fun to play multiplayer for some odd reason. I remember myself and one of our gaming buddies, One Child, we loved playing that game multiplayer because it had a bunch of easy achievements. But BioShock 2, just forget about it. I mean, it's BioShock 1 and Infinite. That's where the real lore is housed.
Yeah, and that's it, though, isn't it? It's the end. Like you said, it was the swan song of Irrational.
Yeah, which stinks. I mean, it is a shame, but that's the nature of the business, man. I mean, these things aren't cheap to make. I don't know if everyone understands how much a video game costs.
If nobody understands how much it costs to make a video game, especially a AAA title, watch the damn credits, and then you will start to understand how much money gets poured into. I mean,
these things cost just as much as Hollywood blockbusters. I mean, we're talking 100 mil plus.
Yeah, when you watch a credit sequence that's 10 minutes long,
Yeah, all those people are getting paid.
Exactly.
They might not be getting paid a lot, and they may have to sue the company afterwards to get their bonuses, but they're getting money. So it is a shame. Hopefully Levine's new studio with some of his partners, makes another great series. But I believe he's done with BioShock.
Yeah, what did he say? The new thing he wants to do, like download only kind of.
Yeah, him and Cliffy B are trying to spearhead. Let's get rid of discs.
Yeah.
Let's just download.
You know what? I'll have to have some words with both of them because, frankly, don't get rid of discs. That's stupid.
Yeah.
There's two camps with the disc thing. The one is the world still doesn't have a solid enough broadband infrastructure to deliver 50 gig games in a timely manner.
Right.
There's also people that still want to have a physical disc and feel it and be able to trade it in. Like digital games, sure, they're easy to buy and you can get them right away. Well, not right away. You got to wait a little bit, but
I think that most people will bring up, when it comes to the digital thing, they'll turn around and go, yeah, but look at Steam. And to be fair, look at Steam. I love Steam. Steam is great.
God's gift to gaming.
Oh, yeah. Praise the Gaben. Thank God. For Steam,
you guys are great.
Because
Gabe, if you're listening,
Valve.
I was just going to say that the fact that they've been able to achieve complete dominance on the PC, on the PC, the hardest people to please in the world when it comes to games is the PC crowd, and the fact that most people will quite happily turn around and say, yeah, Steam is great. And the discounts and the fact that, you can log into any computer in the world, access your games. But like Ray touched on, it does come with the fact that it has some caveats, like you can't trade in those games. You can't ever get, recoup any money whatsoever with those games. And personally, trading games in has been such an integral part of my gaming life that I don't want to give that up. I don't care how cheap something becomes. I still like having a physical copy of something. I mean,
there's two camps on that subject right there. There are people in the industry that think trading in games is wrong. Like there are people look at GameStop as being evil for selling used games.
Those are people that inherently they're getting paid. And granted, as we just said, like the games industry, it's messed up. Like it's serious hard work. It's not just, we're making a video game like, we all wish it would be. It's a $1 billion industry kind of thing. And I understand that. But the people that say that trading in a game is inherently wrong are the people that are getting their check and say, well, I wish I could add an extra zero to this. I think it's that shame on them for saying the consumer who purchases their game at $60 at retail can't go around.
Their argument is that the developer doesn't see any of the additional sales from used games.
But it's being sold to a third-party store, That's
exactly.
That's why. Yeah,
it's not the consumer's fault, and it's not the publisher's fault. It's the middleman's fault, which happens to be, you guys say GameStop.
We have GameStop, and I think Best Buy is doing it now.
Well, didn't EA try to get around the whole thing where if you got one of their games, it came with an online pass, and sure, you could trade it in, but you had to spend the money getting an online pass.
They tried doing that with the multiplayer components of their games to try to get even $10 back. I'm playing devil's advocate here, guys, but being a developer and like, okay, we sold our game, we made probably $1 on it, and now GameStop is making money hand over fist, just reselling it. Yeah, I'd be like, I'd like to have some of that, but you can take it to other industries. I mean, if I buy a car, which I just got a new one, and I sell my old one, that's my choice to sell my car. I paid for it. I want to sell it.
Yeah.
When I buy my toys, not that I'll ever sell them, but if I ever want to try to make some money back on them, that's my prerogative to sell them. So
it's capitalism.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I think stores like GameStop and traditional, just pure disc-based retail outlets are in trouble.
Yeah, I will agree. I think it's something that will, in the future, become more prominent. I mean, on PC, like I said, it's pretty much the default way of getting games. In fact, on PC, I probably haven't bought a physical game for about 3 years now. Every purchase I've made has been digital. Not all through Steam, some through other websites, but definitely all digital. But my console gaming experience is completely different. Everything I buy has been physical. And I like it like that. I don't know why, I just do. I mean, I was pretty
I'm right
pissed.
there with you.
Well, I mean, I was pretty pissed when I stopped seeing manuals in game cases.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't get me started.
I'm there with you guys on that.
You guys don't like built-in tutorials?
It's not that.
Let's save it for next Friday. Oh boy.
I would say it's not the fact that I have a built-in tutorial in a game. I mainly hate those anyway. But I used to just like having the manual because it would give you information on characters, on enemies, on tactics.
And they had full color like illustrations.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it was
maps
artwork
and things. Oh my God, there was an effort.
Working in the corporate world for 7 years, I mean, I understand why. I mean, any way they can save money, they're going to save money, and that's why those things are gone. Because obviously, you had printing costs, paper costs. Now they can just be like, here's a link, go check it out, or hit the website and go look at it. So yeah, it is a bummer, but I mean, it's easy to see why that has happened.
I'm not disputing that, the reasons were to save money. It just annoyed me because it's something that I was used to. They took something away from me that I kind of liked. I'd go off to the toilet, sit there, read my manual,
preaching to the choir.
Well,
flush, go back downstairs. And
speaking about the toilet, not we're kind of on a tangent, but I have to say I've been playing Star Wars Tiny Death Star as my daily bathroom reading material since November, and I now have a near 75 level Death Star and over 110 bittisins. And I can't stop playing that game, and it's completely mundane gameplay. I mean, I wouldn't even call it gameplay, but yeah, so sorry. When you're bringing up things you do in the bathroom.
Listeners, if you're on the toilet right now.
Yeah, download Star Wars Tiny Death Star.
There you go.
Just don't sit there too long. You might give yourself hemorrhoids.
This brings me to another thing about the toilet. Nobody in the modern world goes to the toilet anymore without an internet-enabled device. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Don't drop those phones in the commode.
That's why you got to
have a policy where I only bring a magazine. I leave my phone in my room.
Oh, look at Ray.
Well, that's why.
That's old school.
Well, you can bring
some of us are trying to stay literate here, guys. Come on.
You can take your magazine, or you can just take your iPad. So you don't have to take the phone. You have the iPad.
And then you drop that in the toilet, it clogs it.
No, it would probably fall on the floor, and then the screen would crack. So.
All right. Well, transitioning off of the potty talk, let's get back to some of the games we were playing. I know Tim Benson's had an opportunity to check out the closed beta for Dead Island Epidemic from, is it Stunlock Studios?
It was Stunlock Studios. So it's not deep. It's published by Deep Silver, and it's a completely different game to previous Dead Islands. When you say Dead Island, obviously everyone remembers the kind of controversial trailer of the first one. I don't know if
I still listen to that music.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great trailer. Really, really pulled you in and made you want more. And the game was, I think, Dead Island 1 was it received a lukewarm kind of reception. Some really enjoyed it. Some
it was popular enough to earn a sequel.
Yeah, and the sequel is where a lot of people have problems because it just felt like it was a carbon copy of the first one with some change of scenery. And I played it, got very bored of it. But Epidemic is a completely different beast altogether. I mean, for a start, it's not a first-person, bash zombie stroke shooter. It's a MOBA, or as they call it, a Zomba.
Zumba.
Yeah, so I mean, it does.
Okay, real quick, Ten, could you just explain to people what a MOBA is? I don't know if everyone listening, or at least the 10 people listening, if they understand what a MOBA is.
It's an online battle arena, basically.
So do you play against other humans then, or are you going against AI?
You play. It can be a mixture of both humans and AI, but mainly, obviously, you're going to play against other people. That's where the real challenge is. Classic ones that you can think of are, all the popular ones are League of Legends, Dota 2, those, kind of get a team together, get some really good friends together, go out and, battle other teams.
Yeah, I mean, these require some pretty intense strategy if you want to get
exactly.
Good
Yeah,
at it, right?
It is strategy. It's 100% strategy. And when I was playing Epidemic, that's one of the stumbling blocks I had, is that I played with some friends of mine who had completely no experience of a MOBA at all. And it was quite funny to be kind of going around with them, and every time we played, we kept getting absolutely caned by the opposition. I think one match became second, but for the most part, we were running around like headless chickens. And although we went out with the best intentions and the best tactics, they quickly fell apart against people who kind of were really, I would say, more experienced in a battle arena.
So what was the goal for, I mean, do you have to capture objectives from the other team, or just go and start beating the piss out of each other? Or?
Well, there are several ways of earning points, which are then added to a total. Once you reach a certain threshold, you then get to leave the map as the winner or second place. And basically they are supplies, because we're in a, zombie apocalypse here. So as a group of survivors, the one thing that you're going to need is supplies. And you can get supplies from supply points, which are static flags on a map that you fight for control over. Or you can get them from just beating the various different types of infected. Some of them are special infected, which are from the actual Dead Island series of games. So if you're familiar with the Dead Island series of games, you'll recognize some of the special infected in there that are in there, such as the floater, the butcher. And then from obviously beating other players. But you're not going to get supplies from somebody who hasn't already picked up their supplies. So there's a lot of strategy involved. Do I go for the supply point? Do we hit 2 supply points at the start? Or should we wait on the fringes here, let them capture the supply point, and then we go in for the kill? You also get other types of special infected called hoarders, who are kind of mini bosses that have a big sack hung over their shoulder filled with supplies, and they take a lot of damage. And so what tends to happen is that one of these will spawn, and everyone kind of seems to drop what they're doing and head straight for this guy, because they know they're going to get a big bounty if they can actually defeat this guy. And it's really intense when you've got 3 teams all trying to battle each other, plus battle the zombies, battle the special infected and the normal infected, all at once, all using special moves and all trying to outwit each other. And it's really good fun. What I played, I really enjoyed. And I haven't played a lot of MOBAs before. I've played it a little bit here and a little bit there, but I wouldn't call myself an experienced player whatsoever. But with Dead Island, I found it to be really interesting. Some of the maps are really well designed as well. There seem to be some interesting choices to force players into certain areas to create, dynamic and more interesting situations. So yeah, I would say that if you can, head on over and sign up and see if you get yourself a beta key.
Yeah, we'll do you even better. Benson's made a great little video, gameplay video, and within it, I believe we have a link to the beta site. So again,
yep.
After you're done listening, hit up entertainmentbuddha.com and search for Dead Island Epidemic. You'll find the post. You can watch the video, kind of see what Jim was talking about.
Yeah.
And definitely. Then head over and try to get into the beta. Is that going to be free to play? Do you remember?
It's free to play, and
PC only, correct?
If you like you say, if you want more details, or if it, what I'm saying is piquing your interest, check out the video up on YouTube at Entertainment Buddha channel, because I do go.
Give us some clicks.
Sorry,
give us some hits. Give us some hits, people. We need the traffic.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it was a great video. Did a good job on that. So let's move on to our last game. And I'm not even sure if Raymond was able to check it out, but we came into possession of some Wildstar beta keys because Ray and I are going to be meeting with Carbine Studios next week out at PAX East. And hopefully going to talk to the developers and get some inside hands-on information with this game. So Ray, were you able to play Wildstar at all? Or
yes, you know what? When I woke up, I downloaded the entire client and game last night. I was super excited because, as Matt can tell you, I think since I first started writing for the site, I've been like pretty interested in Wildstar. And I'm not a big, MMO guy. I played World of Warcraft probably at the height of when I had nothing better to do with my life. So haven't really been interested in one for a while, but Wildstar always looked pretty interesting to me. So I got the code yesterday, downloaded the client, and spent about 20 minutes trying to log in, only to find out later that the beta
got to read the fine print, brother.
Yeah, was a little too excited to actually read the email, and it's you could play today. So I woke up this morning, I played about, I want to say an hour 20 minutes maybe, and went kind of through the starting area with the character. So yeah, and you know what? Having not played an MMO in a couple years now, I think it's exactly what the market needs for people like me that are familiar with how the games work.
That's cool.
But it does enough different that it's not super stale within the first few minutes. The art direction's pretty cool in it too. It's very cartoony, comic-y. There's definitely some humor throughout, and to be completely honest, I kind of wish I had a few more extra hours right now because I would definitely be playing. So,
we'll try to not tie up any more of your time with this.
Yeah, geez, oh my God,
we'll get you to play that game as soon as possible.
No, it's. I'm very excited to see how the game does at launch because I think the MMO market has kind of gotten stale in the last couple of years, and I think this has enough personality as well as pretty good gameplay that I think people are going to flock to it, or at least they should.
Good. Well, start preparing your interview questions because we got a date. We got a date with them next Saturday at 4
I'm nervous.
You got this.
No need to be, man. Just use that iPhone like a mic and talk like it's normal. All right, so that kind of wraps up the games we've been playing the past 2 weeks. Let's move on to a slightly touchy subject in the games industry for some obvious reasons and some not so obvious reasons. And what I'm talking about is the Facebook acquisition of Oculus Rift. So last week, the news came down that Facebook forked over $2 billion, that's with a B, billion, to buy Oculus Rift. For those of you that aren't familiar with Oculus Rift, it was kind of the first virtual reality headset to really gain traction in the game industry. And it's obviously has led to Sony kind of getting on the bandwagon with Project Morpheus. But so Facebook now owns them. And you know how some people are, they look at Facebook as a big evil corporate entity. And they'll actually use Facebook to bash Facebook for buying certain properties. Notch, the guy behind the Minecraft franchise, he pulled out of making Minecraft for Oculus Rift because of the Facebook deal. So it is pretty big. I mean, either unfounded or founded. This is definitely a controversial move.
To be fair,
I don't know if you want to speak on it, 10. I know you've been following Oculus Rift really since day one.
I would say, just first of all, I'm going to say, to be fair to Notch, he didn't turn around and really snub Facebook and Oculus and, say, screw you guys, I'm going home. It was more a case of, I don't agree with, Facebook and certain things that, they do, particularly in the gaming, because Facebook hasn't really been great to games. There's been a lot of games.
Not in the traditional sense, but I mean, it has gotten non-traditional gamers to play games. And in my opinion, that's always good. The more gamers, the better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me twisted, but I think that it's too early to tell. There's a lot of money that Oculus have just had, thrown at them. And
yeah, but they could build a space shuttle at this point. I mean,
exactly.
They've got some serious cash now to invest into this thing.
Exactly. It's going to speed up their development. It's going to allow them to do things that they possibly thought they wouldn't be able to do in time for the launch of the retail kits. But I think the kind of knee-jerk reaction that people have been having is it's justified because
it didn't surprise me. I'm not saying I was shocked
because
by it.
People are cautious, and especially people that have been backing this as they've put their own money into the Kickstarter. That's
okay. I'm glad you brought that up because that would burn my ass. If everyone remembers, this whole Oculus Rift thing started on Kickstarter. Which, if you don't know what Kickstarter is, I mean, it's a site where you can basically pitch a project to the world and ask for money. Yeah. And they were funded by people like you, me, and everyone on this cast, sending them cash to get started. Yeah. And now they just got a $2 billion windfall. So
I know. And
do we as investors get any of that kickback?
Well, this is it. You're not really, you only invested for the stretch goals or
to get the award, to get like your name in the credit.
Exactly. That's the problem. I mean, that's a separate issue. That's we're talking about kind of Kickstarter and the flaws and pros and cons with Kickstarter and the entire kind of crowdfunding model. But I think it's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths 100% to see a company that you've kind of, not just invested money in, but you kind of invested in that idea. And they were very open with what they wanted to do, specifically for gaming. It wasn't made for anything else. They weren't trying to push anything else. It was literally done for gaming, for taking gaming in a new direction. And then to find that Facebook, who, like I said earlier, haven't exactly been the best for trying to push gaming in an innovative direction other than for pure profit, I can see why people had the reaction they did. Personally, I think it's too early to tell if this is a bad thing, but it's that amount of money has only got to mean that the Oculus is going to get better. So as long as development or developers don't change what they're doing for the Oculus Rift, I don't see how there could be a problem.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm playing the sit and wait because I know how business works, and this was done for a reason. Oculus wouldn't have signed the deal if they didn't think it was beneficial for them. So hopefully it turns out being a great thing. What I want to know, does Minecraft have an official Facebook page? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I'll find out.
It'd be kind of ironic if they did, if Notch hates Facebook that much, but can use it to promote his game.
Yeah, maybe it might not be that Minecraft has one, but I'm pretty sure that 4J Studios, the people that do the Pocket Edition and 360 PS3 versions.
There is a Minecraft Facebook page with 9.1 million likes.
Yeah, so is that the official one, or is that a fan site?
I Googled official Minecraft Facebook.
So probably is with that amount of traction. So like I said, if he hates Facebook so much, why don't you pull your game off of that so you don't get any free advertising?
Capitalism.
Yeah, like it's good when it's good, but then it's bad when it's bad. It's one of those things where it's probably never going to have everyone agree on it. Mm. How about Anna and Ray? Do you have any thoughts on this whole Facebook acquisition?
I think the only thing that I can really say, there's money behind it, so it's got to be good, right? The big funding means good things. Again, I don't know if I'll get into the whole Oculus Rift thing, but it's got to, from a business standpoint, that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, can't be bad unless Facebook hooks their latches in and pretty much Zuckerberg tells them what to do.
Yeah, that kind of just jolted me there. I just remembered something that as long as Facebook leave Oculus as an open platform and don't lock it behind Facebook and make Facebook become, like an intrinsic part of the Oculus experience, whether it be some kind of ridiculous user interface, or having to like certain things or share this sodding post, or
if you blink your right eye, it will like something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
As long as they don't do that, there shouldn't be a problem. But if they do start trying to imprint Facebook onto the Oculus, I think we're going to see a lot of people have a lot of problems with it. And I will be one of them. I will 100% be one of them.
I don't even like linking my Facebook up with a lot of things now. If I ever got into anything like that and that was something that was mandatory, I wouldn't even get into it. I don't.
Yeah, no.
like
Yeah,
that.
I agree with you.
Facebook for me, it's a tool. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I use it to promote the site entertainmentbuddha.com, to promote the Buddhacast, to promote my own writing. So it does have its benefits. But I'm with Anna. Any third party app that wants to send my activity to Facebook, automatically no.
Right.
Or if I can't say no, set it to only me, so only I can. Yeah, I mean, because I know it burns my ass when I see some of the stuff in my feed from other people. It's like,
oh, you mean like so-and-so gave another life to someone in Candy Crush, or they've been playing
oh my
Zoo
God,
Tycoon or whatever?
They invite you to play those stupid ass games. Yeah, I mean, that stuff drives me nuts. But
Hey, we're not going to get sued by King, are we, for mentioning candy?
Oh,
hopefully
hold
not.
on.
Hopefully not.
Have we got a lawyer for EB?
No, we were talking about a game in another universe, actually. So it wasn't the Candy Crush game you were thinking about.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Or was it Crush Candy?
Yes,
that one.
That one. Okay.
with a
twist,
and it's with a K.
Yeah, it's from the X universe.
It's not with a C.
I mean, Ray kind of had a good point before we started the conversation. I don't know if you want to touch on it again, Ray, but your thoughts on Carmack?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said in the last podcast, I don't really care for the whole virtual reality thing. But I think with the Oculus Rift and the whole Facebook situation, it's very interesting in that, John Carmack, who's probably one of the most important game designers kind of all time.
He's a genius, people. Follow him on Twitter. Just read his tweets. You won't even understand them unless you have an IQ in the high 100s.
Yeah, that dude gets it. And since he left, his previous company and came to the Oculus Rift, I think that, first of all, is indicative of that's a piece of technology that has a future. And that after this whole Facebook buyout thing, he's still with them. That's, I think that says a lot about, we don't know the back end of, the deal or anything, but Cormac being still with them, that says that, don't worry just quite yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if that guy didn't jump ship, then it's probably not as bad as the world made it out to be. But you never know. I mean, we're going to have to wait till this thing hits retail.
At the moment, it's far too early to tell. And the most likely situation is nothing's going to happen. It's just going to carry on like it was before, only, this time it's going to be better. So. And
there may be an FB logo on the box.
Yeah. Well, that'll probably be
the little F. Yeah, the little blue F will be there.
Yeah. Or the thumbs up.
The like.
Yeah.
Yeah. The send button.
Yeah.
So now, I think we'll just have to sit there and kind of let this one play out.
So is it safe to say, like, you can poke someone through Oculus Rift? Like, will that be an option?
Yeah, maybe if you do a head button, it senses the movement. It'll do an auto poke.
Right.
Yeah. So who knows? We'll just wait and see when that finally releases. But I'm sure Sony was sitting back in their ivory towers going, I kind of like this news story.
Yeah, definitely. It's played, especially considering they announced Morpheus like the week before.
The timing was perfect. It was literally a week before. So
yeah. I mean,
they're sitting pretty right now.
Things are kind of falling in place for Sony. Really. The last kind of year, they've had a mega year. First with
they really I mean, let's face it, the PS3. I'm not gonna say it was a flop because it ended up selling more consoles than the 360 anyways by the end of things. But it really was a slow starter.
It was an arrogant console. It was an arrogant.
Right. They released it at, I believe, $700 when it first came out, and I still have mine. It's a it's a collector's console at this point because it's the one that could play PS1, PS2, and PS3.
Yep.
And it's a nice machine. But yeah, they made some mishaps with their PR like Microsoft did with the Xbox One. And obviously we're seeing the effect on the Xbox One sales, and it did the same thing for the 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sony has, the whole PS4 era has kind of helped them rebrand themselves as they used to be the dominant console game maker.
I wouldn't turn around and say that it was all credit to Sony. I think they owe a hell of a lot to Microsoft. In fact, if it wasn't for Microsoft, I wouldn't have a PS4. I'd have an Xbox.
I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You are right. I mean, it just goes to show you the power of words. And
exactly.
Really, Microsoft
the message was so
boned their
up,
PR. Yeah. I mean, it was, and I was at E3 last year, like we discussed last time. I was in the Microsoft and the Sony press conferences, and the buzz in each room where once we heard all the stuff with the one, everyone's kind of looking at each other like, huh?
Yeah.
And then at the Sony one at night, there were people literally standing up and cheering like you were at a rock
I watched
concert.
them on a live stream, and the difference was incredible. In fact, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I felt some shivers go up my spine in the Sony one because I was just like, thank God. Because if Sony had followed suit, this generation of consoles would be completely different. Something that going back to the whole digital versus physical is something that I don't want to happen. Not right now. We're not ready for it. The infrastructure isn't there. I mean, they can talk about cloud gaming and Sony's Gaikai and all this stuff, but for the vast majority of people, that infrastructure is not in place for them to be able to fully take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier with pure digital games. I mean, people don't realize, Europe is actually in better shape than we are with broadband and it being rolled out to a lot of areas. Cause
not according to Sony. This is why they're releasing, what's it called? PlayStation Now? Is it? Or Gaikai service?
Yes.
They're releasing that in America way before they've ever even kind of...
Which I got an invite for and I accepted and I haven't heard back since. So hopefully I get the final go, but I should be getting into the PS Now.
Yeah, I think...
It's only starting on the PlayStation 3 first though, which is kind of a bummer.
Really?
Yeah, at least the beta I'm in, it's just for the PS3 part.
I honestly thought they would have bypassed the 3 and gone straight to the 4, being the fact that it's their new console. And, I think it's fair to say that at the moment the PlayStation 4 badly needs an injection of games, not just one game here and one game there. It needs Well, they both do. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the Xbox One, they had Titanfall come out mid-March. All right. What's next? Exactly.
It's the same thing with the PS4 right now. We had Second Son. Okay, what's next? That's going to be exclusive. I guess even MLB The Show has been delayed for the PS4 because that is a Sony exclusive. But it'll take a while.
A side thing here. What next gen titles are people actually really looking forward to? What was the one that if you had to wait before you got your next gen console, what would be the game that would have made you purchase, day one, the moment the game's released, you'd have gone out there and bought the console and the game?
Oh, that's a good question. I think me personally, I'm going to say Destiny at this point.
Destiny, yes, good shout. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm right there with Matt on that one.
What about you, Ray?
You know what? If the Mad Max game was faithful to the Road Warrior exclusively and only for a next gen console, that would be the only thing, because the Road Warrior is the best film of all time, so it'd be the best game of all time. However, at this point, I still do not have a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. I don't see myself getting one for a little bit. A, because I don't have the money to be able to afford one right now, and B, because frankly, there's no game exclusive to either console that I simply need to play. Yeah. Maybe that the new Suda 51 game, like that Lily Bergamo, looks really cool to me. but that's because I'm a big Suda fan. So otherwise, I'll be waiting.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm surprised actually because none of you said Watch Dogs, which seems to be the one that a lot of people are really looking forward to.
I'm going to be the first one to say I never bought into the hype of this game.
Me neither.
I mean, I just not like the world. I mean, they went nuts 2 years ago at E3, like, oh, Watch Dogs, it's so different.
But you know what Watch Dogs reminds me of? It really does remind me of. It reminds me of Assassin's Creed, just set in Chicago, and it's all technology based.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know what really makes it any different.
See, for me,
nothing.
I would say that Watch Dogs looks like an inferior GTA. When GTA 5 dropped its, massive, amazing, vision of Los Santos, Watch Dogs was around at the time as well. And it got delayed, didn't it? Roughly around about the same time.
I'm glad you mentioned this. Do you guys remember the ad campaign that Ubisoft took out?
They put the big billboard up too and everything.
Yeah, like get your time in Los Santos because a month from now you're going to be going to Chicago or something.
Yeah,
and then they had to delay the game. 5
weeks is all you need or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually, when they got hold of GTA, they thought, shit. What do we do, guys? This is amazing. Well,
there's been rumors going around. There's people posting videos left and right. There's a lot of people claiming that Watch Dogs looks worse than it did before
definitely.
the delay.
I would totally agree. I've seen that footage, and it does look like it has been, like development is kind of taken a backward step. And the funny thing is, it's not the only game. Dark Souls 2 did it. One of the trailers for Dark Souls 2 had much better lighting and much better textures, and they seem to have reworked the
Aliens, Colonial Marines.
We're not even going to go there. That's not even a game. Are we going down the toilet route again? I mean,
no, but it's just. It goes along with your examples. I mean, sometimes they try to wow us with these demos, and then when it comes to the real final code, it's not quite.
Colonial Marines was an exception, though, wasn't it? I mean, that was a completely
the game looked amazing.
Game.
Then it came out, it looked like it was for the Xbox, like the original one.
Yep.
I mean, it was junk.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely.
We won't pick on that. It's been. I kind of skewered it. Yeah, I skewered it last year.
Reopen the wounds there.
Yeah, I don't want to upset any Alien fans out there. I mean,
and if you are out there and you're interested to know what Matt thought, go and check out his video because it is genuinely hilarious. There's a bit where he completely flips out over a texture, and it still makes me laugh to this day.
I got a little excited. Yeah, I wish I had more time to do that type of stuff.
I just want to quickly say, because I didn't mention a game that I am really looking forward to. I mean, thankfully, I already have my PS4. I'm possibly going to get an Xbox One in the future. I don't know. I'm not too sure yet.
Do it.
I don't know. I really don't know. Because
I miss you and Chaos, man. I haven't gained with Chaos in like a year. I mean, now that he's got a little lady.
Exactly. He's got his daughter Mia. So he's all his energy is going to go into that. But just going back to what game I'm looking forward to, it is The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
That looks absolutely incredible. Like. And it's not just the fact that it looks incredible and it looks like it'll play really well. I really, really am buying into the whole concept of this. It's kind of like a MOBA at the end of the day. You are a group of people. You are, you co-op in I think it's a recreation of New York. And it's some kind of, I'm not too sure whether it's post-apocalyptic or whether something's happening which is becoming apocalyptic. But the whole concept of being banded with a group of your friends and going out and doing missions and coming across other people that are also trying to do the same thing as you. I mean, do you team up with these people or do you
it's kind of like Destiny then? I mean, that's what it sounds like.
But Destiny has this kind of a situation of where you are playing and then for certain events, it becomes a co-op experience. And then once that event's passed, it then becomes a single player experience again. Whereas the Division is completely co-op, and PvP all at once. So
I have to look into those because I thought Destiny did something similar, but I could be mistaken.
That's what I've gathered. There hasn't been much released about the Division, but really since didn't it debut at E3 last year?
Yeah, that E3 demo was
and it really
brilliant.
Nothing has come out
good.
Since then.
Yeah. It looked so good. It looked.
I remember showing it. I remember showing that trailer or teaser from E3 to my one buddy at work, and him just looking at me and be like, "Dude, we are gonna play this together." And he's not a video game fan by any stretch, but you're right. That is a game I kind of almost feel stupid for not mentioning there because, holy cow! I remember how excited I was now seeing that first little teaser.
Yeah, and that teaser was great as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought about my actual choice, Lego The Hobbit.
I wish they'd stop
with
the
don't
Lego
knock
games
the Lego
already.
games.
Lego Island.
No.
I have Lego the movie on the Vita to play at some point.
Oh, no.
Those are good for little kids and parents to kind of bring kids
or
into
you,
gaming.
Matt.
Yeah, who are we kidding?
Or the entertainment Buddha.
I'm not gonna lie, I do love some brain dead gameplay every once in a while. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just sitting there mashing on a button and never actually dying.
Well, you know what they say: simple things please simple minds.
Yeah, hey, I dedicate my brain power to everything else in life. So when I relax, I just want to be an amoeba.
No, that's fair enough. Each to their own. You like what you like, don't you? At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why I stay away from Dark Souls.
See, this is the thing. You are the perfect person to play Dark Souls.
I wish I had.
I would say perfect person to play and film because I guarantee I would look like a mental patient. I'd be just ripping out what little hair I have left. I'd be biting myself, smashing controllers, punching holes in walls.
Listeners, I'm putting out a little bounty. Tell Matt that you want him to use the Entertainment Buddha Twitch account to stream a blind playthrough of Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2.
Hashtag Matt
and
Souls.
You know what? I will donate 50 cents to each person who tells him that because trust me, it will be worth it.
Daddy Warbucks over here.
Yeah, I'm selling my 3DS to do this.
I'll be a Matt bro, right? Isn't it bro? They're bros. Son bro, one bro.
One bros.
They were.
One bra.
Yeah. A hey bro. Yeah.
Buddha bro.
There we go. Buddha bro. It's done.
All right, so let's start wrapping this episode up. We've been going for quite a while. Always a good time talking with you people. Hopefully everyone likes listening to us. But one of the last things I wanted to touch on is a little film that just released today in the States. I think it was out in the UK a week or two ago, but that's Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So this film is the second solo Captain America film and the third entry in Marvel's Phase 2 movie universe. And I checked it out last night in early screening at my lovely theater that has reserved recliner seats. I love it. AMC, there's a plug for you. Send me some cash. But anyways, Captain America, I think, was a hard sell with the first Avenger. I mean, he is a long established comic book character, but I guess he's not really sexy in a sense to sell for in modern era for movies. And first movie was okay. The character got a little bit better in the Avengers. But I have to say, in The Winter Soldier, I mean, it is a fantastic Marvel movie, and Captain America is a great character to watch. And I really enjoyed the film. It has some amazing action sequences, probably some of the best stunt fighting I've seen in any of the Marvel movies. They do a lot of live car chases, which is something you don't see in film anymore. So I'm kind of a fan of stunts. I have a friend that is in the industry out in Hollywood. He's done some big films, so I appreciate that type of stuff in cinema. And The Winter Soldier features, a little Hank the Gank, but Winter Soldier does some great fighting. I mean, they actually said they took the inspiration from the Captain America video game for the fighting from the first movie to use in the second movie. And it was a fun movie. It definitely ranks up there, probably in the top 3 Marvel movies of all time. I don't know if it was as good as the Avengers, but it's definitely a close second or third. I don't know.
It wasn't as good, but what was enjoyable about watching it was just seeing both of their characters, both Captain America and the Black Widow, just kind of come to terms with everything that's going on, everything with S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was just very political thriller.
Yeah, it really helped to push the Marvel movie world forward, and I'll be interested to see if the TV show lives, which it may not at this point. We're talking about Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, but
it's done.
They cooked it.
I was reading some Entertainment Weekly the other day, and I'm pretty sure it mentioned it's either confirmed done or like hint, hint, wink, wink, see you never kind of thing.
That kind of stinks because they were starting to tie it into the movies, and with Captain America 2, it changes everything about where the universe is going from here on out. So that's why it will be kind of a bummer if S.H.I.E.L.D. does get canned, because it would most definitely change the way that show plays out. Because like Anna said, it completely flips the politics of the Marvel world on its head. And that's why I liked it. And really, Scarlett Johansson is just stunning.
Well, I mean, Chris Evans is not so bad himself.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't really, boys isn't my preference, but dude is built well, and I could see why ladies would find him attractive.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, ladies, just go see him for that. I mean, that's it. You don't need anything else.
Yeah, don't you get a shirt off shot?
No, not in this one.
Just tight shirts. Though,
there is the Under Armour shot, and then there is the tank top shot. So yeah.
Yeah, but I actually think this was the best we've seen the Black Widow as far as a character and really actually getting used and brought into the fold. So overall, great way to kick off the summer blockbuster season. If you're a fan of the Marvel movies, you definitely have to check it out in theaters. The 3D actually looks pretty great, which sometimes it doesn't, but it's a little over 2 hours, flies by. So that to me usually tells me that it's a pretty solid flick. So I just dropped my review today on entertainmentboo.com. Make sure to check that out for my full opinion. But as a teaser, I mean, I gave it 94 out of 100. So that speaks volumes of
fanboy.
What I thought about it. Yeah, that speaks volumes about what I thought about it.
Well, I mean, even for someone who doesn't follow Captain America, it does a really good job at painting, like the patriotic person, that person who is.
What about someone that, like myself, I will happily admit, I'm not into comic book characters. I'm not into Marvel or 2000 AD or anything like that. I've never really got into that. Even when I was younger, I struggled to kind of really get involved with it. Even though a lot of my peers did, it just wasn't for me.
Right.
And
I'm gonna quote my husband on this one. It's more of a political thriller with superheroes inserted. So it's not so much Marvel. Like
you are selling it to me when you say political thriller, definitely, because
it's an action flick with political undertones for sure. I mean, they're definitely. It's definitely a metaphor for what's happening in our world right now.
A lot. The Patriot Act is kind of influenced in this, and just the idea that just everything about you predetermines who you're going to be, and you're watched. And I mean, it's some heavy stuff.
You know how we try to target terrorists before they do any wrong. We'll just blow up random villages. I mean, it's kind of the concept they touch on in The Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I might. And
Benson's really, man. I mean, I enjoy the comic book world. Do I own any comic books? Hardly any. I mean, I'm just into geeky stuff. I mean, I know you're not really into the science fiction films and all that fun stuff. But that's just the type of movie I like.
Don't get me wrong. There's some science fiction that I absolutely adore.
Well, we're not even going to discuss your opinion.
I'm just
Star Wars. We're going to leave that.
It's not just Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is an okay film. To me, it's an okay film. It is incredibly overrated. It's just one of those films that kind of is stuck in people's consciousness, and people go off on it in such a massive way that it makes it even
this
worse
honestly
for
could
me.
be a whole episode in itself, because
Right.
I mean, I've liked Star Wars since I was a little kid. Now, when the prequels came along, it definitely impacted the way I look at the franchise as a whole now.
That was a Freudian slip if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, exactly. It basically, in my opinion, destroyed what he created in the first three movies, which I do think are great and not overrated. But the prequels just tarnished the entire franchise.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just going to say that I do like science fiction, and I love the Aliens franchise, the Alien series as a whole. I've really enjoyed, and they're still yet to make a goddamn game that encapsulates.
Well, you're going to have a chance
Right.
this year. Alien Isolation.
That looks-
hoping to nail it. So,
I can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. I just know it. It's just one of those things that I look at, I can see where they're going with it. And when you just get that vibe from something that it's going to be good. It's going to live up to that promise.
Yeah.
And
we've been, Ray or I, we've been uploading any trailer we get from that game, and a lot of the dev diary oriented trailers. You can tell that these people respect the franchise. They know what Alien is. They know what made it scary, and that seems to be how they're shaping the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I think back to Colonial Marines, and I think about, I really did buy into the hype of Colonial Marines, and that's exactly what it was.
Tons of potential. It's supposed to be a sequel to Aliens.
Exactly.
I mean, kind of an in-betweener from Aliens and Aliens.
Exactly.
3.
I mean, Gearbox. I mean, Pitchford. He was touting about having access, exclusive access to, all these assets, and how we're going to make, basically, like you say, the sequel that everyone wanted to Aliens. And I'm like, yeah, I want some of that. Who doesn't want that kind of experience? And we all, the rest.
The only thing that game got right was the gun report on the sound.
The pulse rifle
gun.
Yeah,
that's still the best machine gun sounding rifle in all of movies, in my opinion.
I think, I'm definitely.
I love that sound, man. It sounds like it's almost like gas powered. I don't know.
Didn't they have like the power loader that you couldn't do anything with? Wasn't there like a power loader that you see a power loader, but you don't actually ever?
I think it's just part of the background.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's just like an art asset or something.
Yeah, what were they thinking?
That's like I said. I mean, that's a rabbit hole we could dedicate a whole episode to, the movies and crappy games based on them. But we've already eaten up almost an hour and a half of your time. So hopefully, if you appreciated listening to our banter, we obviously appreciate listens, clicks, follows. So make sure to check out entertainmentboo.com on a daily basis, because at least one of us will be throwing up content for you. So before we say goodbye, I just want to go around the table so everyone can drop some plugs. We'll start with 10 Bensons. Anything you want to promote, plug, social networks?
Yeah, just you can follow me on Twitter at 10 Bensons, and hopefully I shall see you on there.
All right, how about you, Ray? Anything you want to share, promote? You got any gigs out in Westchester?
I don't have anything going around locally. Just next week, Matt and I will be headed up to Boston for PAX East, which is very exciting.
This will be Ray's first real deal video game convention as a member of the media. So it should be an interesting.
Correct. I've made the big leagues.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm sure I'll be trying to take as many pictures and tweeting and all that stuff as I can. So my Twitter is at Wu-Tang Clam. So you know what? Check it out, and we'll see what we get into up there.
Yeah, and jumping on that PAX East thing, if you guys are listening and you're interested in us asking specific questions to a certain developer, please let us know. Use the site, send me an email, because we're really going to focus on indie at PAX East. I mean, that's a lot of developers we've set up appointments with, so I'm kind of excited to work with these smaller studios, because quite frankly, we're a smaller site, and so we're in the same boat, and it'll be great to kind of get in with these indie studios to hopefully kind of nurture some partnerships moving forward. So moving around, how about you, Anna? Anything you want to promote or plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at Febzilla. And don't forget, for all you Game of Thrones fans,
I can't believe he's going to mention that.
Winter is coming back.
I can't believe that. I thought about mentioning that earlier. I thought, no, I won't
It finally feels like spring here, and they got to bring winter back.
Yeah, definitely check that out. 9 p.m. East on HBO. I'm excited. I think a lot of fans that haven't read the books will finally feel a little justification this year.
I'm
not going to go any further than that because I have read the books. I'm not a dick. I'm not going to spoil anything, but things may change a bit this year for some of the families that you may or may not like in Westeros. So to wrap this up, everyone, again, I am Matt Haywood, the Entertainment Buddha, if you will, and my handle on Twitter is Matt Haywood. Unfortunately, I like to be creative, so it's MATTH3YWOOD. So that's at Matt Haywood with a 3 on Twitter. You could also follow at Ent Buddha. And for those of you that didn't attend elementary school, you spell Buddha BUDDHA. And if you say it properly, it's Buddha. Right, Jim? He was telling me earlier this week it's Buddha, not Buddha. Buddha. So yeah. Again, we are the entertainmentbuddha.com crew. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you checking out the site because, we really do bust our asses to try to bring you unique content, news, and kind of give our own spin on it. So thanks for checking out episode 2 of the Buddhacast. We'll get this thrown up on YouTube for those of you that like to kind of watch along. And so, it was another great episode. Don't forget to hit up the site because we make you a better geek one post at a time. See you, everybody.
All right.
Peace.